Welcome to season 2 of Millena the Talk Show. Yay! Thank you so much for tuning in. Well, today is a very special casual episode, hence the casual dress. And we're going to be talking about the power of social media. We all have social media. What do we do with it? Some know what to do with it, some don't know what to do with it. Let's figure it out together.
You need to watch this woman's show.
Welcome to Millena the Talk Show, where we talk about things that everyone thinks about but rarely ever says.
And I want you to make sure you tune in with Millena because she's a friend of mine. Keep it real.
Welcome back to Millena the Talk Show. Today we're going to be talking about the power of social media. And my special guest is Shayla Love. She is an actress, a writer, and a producer. She has lots of followers, and she's going to have lots of information for us about social media. Come on out, Shayla!
I love the claps. That's cool.
Thanks, girl, for joining the show. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So, as we do here, we get comfy, we get real.
Yes.
Let's break down social media.
Okay. I'm super comfy, by the way.
No.
No.
Yeah. It's a special casual
Okay.
episode. I never dress like this, but let's
do it.
You know, social media is work. It
Yeah.
might as well, the way I see it, is like you might as well be going to the gym to do social media.
Well, it's
For
a
real.
lot of different things, and you're so sweet to say that I have so many followers, but
You
I have
do.
like 4,000 something. In the world of people who have millions of followers and like hundreds of thousands, 4,000 something is like nothing.
But in the world
Thank
of people
you.
who have like 100, 4,000 is a lot.
Well, I appreciate that. Okay. So, I just, like you mentioned, I'm an actor, a budding producer. I write as well. And so, specifically, I can talk about how social media has sort of changed, you know, how you're viewed as a brand. It's not just, you know, I've been to certain workshops and panels where a casting director will just flat out say like, hey, you know, production companies look at, you know, how many followers you have, and you know, because in TV it's all about all about sales, it's all about the numbers.
Yeah.
So if I have this many followers, that means that many people that I could sell this product to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
It's interesting
It's very
how people
interesting.
look at that, because that doesn't necessarily translate. Like
Absolutely not.
one of the Rock's movies, and I love The Rock.
Mhm.
Ooh, love The Rock.
Mhm.
Please watch Rock. But I love it, man. He has all these millions of Facebook followers, and so they made a movie one time based on him getting his Facebook followers to go to that movie, and they didn't.
Mhm.
So just because you have a lot of followers does not necessarily translate into the dollars.
Right, and it's like having to break down the demographics of your followers, like which are on this coast as opposed to this coast, and sort of what's relevant. You know, even the time difference makes, you know, a difference. Like if it's 5 o'clock here,
Yeah.
but it's 3 o'clock somewhere else, that can be the difference of I have time to sort of engage because I'm just getting off work, as opposed to I'm still at work and, you know.
I gotta put the kids to bed.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
get
I mean,
dinner
all
together.
those things like play like a part into it. So,
Okay, so let's start from the beginning.
Okay, so much. Okay.
Yeah, there's so much. Okay, so let's just pretend that everybody's like me and doesn't have a whole lot of followers, but we want to get more followers.
Yeah.
We want to do better.
Mhm.
Because I thought I had a strategy. Clearly it's not working. So what would you say in order to start, if you want to start getting more followers, how do you do that?
Well,
Step 1, step 2, step 3.
Copy. Okay. Well, first, let me disclaim that I am by no means like a social media manager. They call them SES.
There's a name?
Yeah, like it's like, or I'm sorry, SES. I said SEO. It gets super like serious because it's all like math and algorithms and things like that.
Okay.
But from the research that I've done just on my own,
Okay.
and from what I've heard, from other people, is to just get very clear about your brand, and that will help you sort of target, the specific times and like who your actual audience is. Like, so if you know that your brand is like pink, so then you can say, well, I know
fuchsia.
Or fuchsia. so I know women, you can say this amount of women love fuchsia, and this amount of women engage, on the color of fuchsia during these particular times. So like each platform, like from Twitter to Facebook to Snapchat to Instagram, each one of them have specific times where engagement is really high, and they're all different from each other. Like, so engagement, we're talking about likes from comments, to retweets or reposting, different things like that.
Okay, and I only made the face because people would actually literally like stuff about the color fuchsia.
Yeah, here's the thing. There's the beauty of social media. You talk about the power of social media, that there is something for everybody. Remember, social media is basically everybody. It's a reflection of everybody in the world. So essentially everything has an audience. The tricky thing is about, finding yours specifically. And sometimes I think the more specific that you are, works. Sometimes the more universal or, the more broad you are about thing works too. It's a lot of trial and error. I feel like a lot of us are just practicing in public. With, social media, and that's all it really is. And if you look at some of the social media stars in the very beginning, they were just trying out different things, and then when they finally found their niche, found something that worked, then they
did it.
Right.
So how did you get to 4,500? How did you get that many?
Honestly.
And how long did it take?
I guess honestly, I haven't even tracked like, I have this many followers now. I guess things like hashtags help, that I've been on some network television has helped too. Because I'll post like, hey, you can catch me tonight, or, they'll look up a certain hashtag of a show and my name might come up. And so there are people when I'm not even on social media at all, like I'll get a follower here, and then you just never know like why people are following or, what brings them to that moment. Right. I will say it's a different, I will say, but it's a combination of what I do, as a creator. And then one point in time I was creating like funny videos, like rant videos, things like that. Sometimes it's just, a cool picture. Okay. So, I can't really say it's anything specific.
So let me ask, let's take an example of, I don't know, let's say this show.
Okay, yes.
How would we grow, if someone they know their brand.
Yes.
So they know their brand, whether it's jewelry, whether it's clothing, perfume, film, a show, whatever it is. So they're solid with their brand.
Yes.
They need to get the followers.
Right.
Help.
Off the top of my head, again, without being a social media manager, and just off the research that I've done, and just what I can kind of intuitively, pick up on, is engagement is the name of the game. I think, if you think about your actual relationships with real people, how did you get to love a person? It's because you learn more about them. Like you may have initial attraction to somebody, so somebody may initially come to your page off like, this looks interesting, but how do you love a person? How do you, become friends with a person for years? Is because you know so much about them, because you can relate to them. So I feel like if you can take your brand, then get very specific, and then just break it down and say, sort of dissect, all the different parts of the show. So, not just what we're doing here, but maybe people want to see behind the scenes. Maybe people want to see like, people want to know about your lipstick color, like different things. Like the more that they know about you, that represents more engagement and with people.
So like my jewelry line,
right.
I don't have on today.
Yeah, like different things like that. So there's the brand that people fall in love with, kind of like the perfect polished like package, but then also people fall in love with people. So having a strong brand, and then having so outside of the brand, this is Millena, and this is who I am, and this is what fuels the brand. That's just what I think.
Okay, that's good. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So for Okay, so that would be for me personally.
Mm-hmm.
So for the show, but would you put in there with, let's say, for Millena the Talk Show, would you put stuff like I love to travel.
Mm-hmm.
So all the places that I've traveled, would I put stuff about travel? Does that relate to the show?
Absolutely.
Or would that be a hashtag to me and an @
I know it's so complicated, but it can be. But I think anything, because the beauty of your show and what you're doing here is that it's your show, that it's you, that even though you have like a team that are, helps to execute it, is essentially, your vision, and you can say like, oh, okay, I'd like to, do this with it or go here with it. So you can just take you don't have to make up anything. All of you can be in your show because it's still you, and it wouldn't be inauthentic. It would just be genuinely you. So you can even do a travel segment, or you can engage with your followers, or what are some of the things that you would like to know about travel? Let's talk about it on the show, because there's things that there's like a universal knowledge of things like, oh, people know how to book flights, or, but people may not know the best times to buy the cheapest plane ticket.
Tuesdays.
Yeah, Tuesday. And I was just gonna say
Tuesday's the best day.
Right.
Yeah.
Some people may not know that. So you
Tuesday,
talk about,
best time to buy plane tickets.
Indeed.
Yes.
So you can talk about things like, traveling tips and tricks, or, just unpack. I call it unpacking, is when you literally just take a big thing and make it dissect it until it's the very smallest thing, until it's relatable to everybody.
Okay, now speaking of unpacking, we're going to hold that because we're going to unpack some more. We're
Okay.
going to unpack some more social media tips right after this quick break. Welcome back to Millena the Talk Show, and today my special guest is Shayla Love, and we are talking about social media. We left off with unpacking about social media. Let's talk about the tips.
I talked about, again, without, being somebody who's been vetted as a social media manager, I think engagement is really important.
Okay.
And being able to show people like a polished brand.
So let me stop you there. So when you say engagement, you mean don't just post something. You have to post something and respond to other people.
Right. And I'm glad you said that, with other people too, because engagement is, it's a two-way street. And a lot of people, they'll like post something and they'll be like, oh, why am I not getting a lot of likes? Or da, 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 da. The actual algorithm is actually based on, more people will see you, more people will show up on your timeline, the more that you engage as well. So people, a lot of just, post and go, which is fine. But if your objective is to, engage, then it's just like communication. Again, juxtaposing it to a real relationship, you need to be able to, engage with other people as well.
Wow. And that's so interesting. I'm glad we're having this conversation because way back when Facebook first started, I got on there and I would do just that. I would just post some stuff that I was doing and keep it going. And one of my friends from middle school, Vivette Andrews, I still remember her because we were cool in school.
Vivette.
Hey, Vivette. Oh my gosh. Well, she sent me a nasty gram and said she is unfriending me because she didn't appreciate the fact that all I ever did was post about me, and I would never go to her page, never respond back to anybody, never did anything, and all I did was just talk about it. And I'm like, I was hurt for a little bit, because I didn't know that it was that big of a deal or important. I thought that people wanted to see what I was doing. I mean, it was always work. For me personally, like, this is extra work. So for me to actually get it on here, even the 2 or 3 weeks after the fact, we're doing a lot.
Yeah.
We're doing a lot. It's never real time. It's always after the fact. So the fact that I just got it up there, because I got 1,000 things to do. I don't have time to just sit and
Right.
But when she said that, I was like, oh, I didn't.
She took it personally.
She took it personally. And it wasn't personal. So now I understand better from our conversation that people really do care.
Yeah.
That when it's like you said, it's a relationship, even though it's online, it's a relationship and it's a two-way street.
It's a digital relationship, professionally, but also I think that personally it can be a way to, reveal more about yourself. In a way that's like, engaging, but still like inspirational. And, some people just kind of
go to the left.
Yeah, they go to the left or the right. Like they tell everything, or they have such a public persona that it matches nothing like in their actual, presence, and it's just like, oh, there's got to be like a happy medium here.
Right, there has to be. Like, I don't understand why people post so many pictures of food. Are you inviting me to dinner? Like, why are you showing me what you're having? I don't care.
Now, if they're a chef or they have a
don't.
food page,
Not interested.
I get it. If they're foodies, I'm a foodie myself. I love dining at different restaurants and talking about it and stuff like that.
I don't even cook.
Right.
I hate cooking. I think the grocery store is the devil. It's the biggest waste of time ever.
No, the grocery store does give me anxiety. It does.
It's
so. See what we're doing right now?
Yeah.
Some people, you may have a lot of, or maybe not a lot, but some who don't like to cook just like you. And you can have a segment on, not loving to cook and then inviting a chef. Like, these are some of the ways that you can cook for people who don't, love to cook. Everything that you can think about that makes up you, like your bag of stuff, is like an audience.
And why, I guess my biggest question is, then we're going to get into the pitfalls of it, but why do people care? What?
I think because at the end of the day, a through line for like all humans is that we desire connection, whether it's, genuine or not, or even if it's a perceived, genuine connection. We all desire to be connected to something that's familiar.
Interesting.
Yeah. I think that's what I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay. That was that. Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Okay, so now what are some of the pitfalls and the dangers of too much social media?
God, I feel like
that's a whole big
still
thing.
Unpacking.
Yeah,
I feel like some of the pitfalls of social media that I can just ring off the top of my head right now is that people's when they're hiding behind a computer or a phone, they get really bold. they say some really like hurtful,
they do,
extremely like just nasty things that I feel like they wouldn't ordinarily say to somebody like in person. And I think people say things, they just spew, I call it like word vomit, just like whatever comes off the top of their head, and they do it without thinking about the ramifications of how that's affecting the person on the receiving end. Yeah. And, we know a lot of people have done extreme things. Yes.
They've committed suicide.
Cyberbullying.
Cyberbullying.
We know about trolls, like people who are, who literally have, all this time to basically...
Who has all this time
to send all this negative energy to someone?
How miserable are they in their lives?
Exactly. So that's one thing. So I feel like social media in that way can be...
Cyberbullying.
It can be draining when you see a lot of, especially with, the current issues in the socio-political climate, what's going on. You see the divide, and then, it's always interesting to me, like the comments under any one issue. You really get a scope of like where we are as a society.
Yes.
I'm just like, oh my God.
Yes, I've started
we have not evolved at all.
No, we have not moved on.
Yeah.
There are still people who think a certain way.
Right.
And
there's
they're not moving from that.
Also.
Now,
like,
what is catfishing?
So it's basically you pretending to be somebody that you're not. So people will get whole like different pictures and create these whole,
Yes, that happened. Oh my gosh, that happened last week.
Lives, basically.
That happened last week. Okay, so I'm good friends with Quentin Aaron.
Okay.
Shout out to Q. Hey, Q.
Hey, Q.
He's Quentin Aaron. You remember the movie The Blind Side?
Yes.
Yes, the star.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Hi, Quentin Aaron.
Okay. He's a big giant teddy bear. He is the sweetest, kindest guy.
Okay.
So as I'm trying to build my Instagram.
Okay.
Because I just got on in December.
Congrats.
Thank you. So I'm trying to build my Instagram. So I came across some pictures of me and Q, and so I put them on Instagram and I tagged him. And there are a lot of pictures of him on there. So I thought it was, the one that had his name. Okay, there are a few of them. So I picked one. And it was odd that there were these pictures and the hashtags under it were like fit mom, all that. And it's him with these women in the gym. Just pictures of him and women in the gym. I'm like, okay, maybe he likes women in the gym, but the whole page of him with women in the gym, I don't know.
Maybe not him.
Maybe, I don't know. It didn't occur to me, and so then I hit him on the DM.
She knows what DM
learning all this language.
So
I went to his messages, and I had gotten a message from him.
Okay.
And I was like, looked in it, and I was like, oh, hey, Q, how are you? And he's like, hey, I'm good. And I'm like, so how's it going? He's like, I'm fine. How are you doing? I'm fine. So, and then when I started going back and looking at the hashtags, I was like, are you really Q? You really my buddy Q? And he was like, yeah. And I said, okay, I'm going to ask you a question. If this is really you. Now, who is the name of the celebrity wrangler that always invites us to all this stuff? Mm-hmm. Silence, radio silence. Of course. And I was like, And so then I texted him. And I was like, Q, I'm trying to talk to you on Instagram, so I'm just letting you know that you know who I'm talking about. Yeah. So big shouts to David Marish. Love you. Mean it. And hope you're well. And so he didn't respond back. So I said, I want you to know that, just FYI, someone is out there impersonating you on social media.
It happens.
And I said that to the guy, and I was like, are you an imposter or are you real? And he said, well, there are a lot of imposters out there, but I'm the real one. I'm like, oh, okay. Did not engage anymore, and I let Q know. But that just happened.
That's why you look for the blue checks, the verified accounts. So what people who have a platform, typically celebrities or people who are public figures, they have the verified, the blue check, because there are a lot of people who just really are taking lives. They want to be other people. So anytime a celebrity has like a blue check next to their name, that means they're verified. They're actually who they say they are.
Oh my gosh, I had no idea. Yeah. I had no idea.
Stick with me, kid.
I'm going to stick with you, girl. I'm going to stick with you. Thank you so much for being on the show today. I can't believe we're out of time already.
Dang.
I know, but I learned so much, unpacking all the power of and the pitfalls of. I hope you guys learned a lot too. Social media is powerful. It's there. We just have to be safe with it, and we can enjoy it.
Indeed.
The right way. So thank you so much for tuning in today. I really appreciate it. Yay, we're season 2. Join us next time. See you then.
You need to watch this woman's show.
Welcome to Millena, the talk show, where we talk about things that everyone thinks about but rarely ever says.
And I want you to make sure you tune in with Millena because she's a friend of mine. Keep it real.